Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is. Hold on, we got a new name. First Fridays with Foxworth.
It works, I guess.
Foxworth. Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
You make me feel guilty when you say it like that.
I ain't trying to make you feel guilty. I'm like, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? I'm down to make it happen, but it's First Fridays, and that way now people can look forward to the specific occasion.
Well, yeah, I miss it. I still get like randomly, or not randomly, more and more on the street, people like recognize me and say they listen to my show. But for a long time, or they see me on Get Up, but for a long time, the thing I would get the most was like, oh, I love you. And I'd be like, I get excited a little bit on Foxworth Friday. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that ain't really me though. Like,
no, but it is you though. It is you though. That's the thing. But also First Fridays with Foxworth has a phrasing that is very important to African Americans of
true.
Certain bourgeoisness of our age. As there was a time where First Friday, boy, let me tell you, don't nothing a black person with a degree love to do more than go hang out with other black people who have degrees, where everybody knows that we're all here because we have degrees, and so we pat each other on the back for having degrees. And First Friday was such an occasion.
That specific strain, well, I guess it's different than Jack and Jill, but that's a whole nother conversation because my I don't know nothing about that world. That wasn't anything I was in. So when I first had kids and we had a little bit more money than I had as a kid, like people were like, you should do Jack and Jill. My wife, who grew up like more affluently than I did, was like, no, no, we're not putting our kids in that. And I was like,
this is why I love your wife, because on paper, Jack and Jill seems on the board, but nah, she actually a real one. This is important. I do look back on it though, because there was always an emphasis, or not really an emphasis, but my mother would try, and I understand it better now as an adult, to put me in situations to be around other middle to upper middle class black kids, because they wasn't but so many of us, right? So we all need to get together. But the thing is, I went to school with rural working class people. So I did not meet these people and feel like I was meeting my peers, right? Like I was just like, oh, this isn't my room either. And I always wonder if I had gotten like a little taste of Jack and Jill, maybe it would have been good for me just so I wouldn't be so mean to those people now. Like, I don't like them at all. Like, anytime somebody invites me to anything that I feel like got a whiff of that, I'm like, oh, you one of them, huh?
Yeah. Nah, it's I would agree that you have this aversion to that group, which is probably most times you're better off not. But like I mentioned at up in Martha's Vineyard, going to like the Black Ivy League thing, and I could feel the eye roll through the text. Like, some of them are cool, bro. Like, some of them are cool. And my wife and I went to like Black Harvard Alumni Weekend, and I remember, like, it's kind of cool to me that both my wife and I are alumni from this fancy school, and we're going to this weekend, and it's gonna be cool. And all my friends like, oh, that's dope. And Bo is like, oh, that's dope. Yeah, but watch out. Don't don't catch it.
First of all, I don't think I realized that your wife was also a Harvard alum. I misunderstood that part. So okay, I get it. And I mean, I imagine there's another Domonique Foxworth walking around there somewhere.
My homeboy, he wrote his second book, and we went to high school together, and like he has a much different background than even me. Whereas like his brothers and his dad and all them, they was pharmacists, and they did some time as a result of it. His mom was a teacher, and he went on to like go to Harvard, and now he's a professor there. And yeah, he
sound like we can kick it. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely can kick it. And there are a few others like that. But I get your point, because the funny thing is, like, they had at that weekend, they have so many like meetings and conferences and seminars and whatever about all these different things. And then of course there are a few well-attended ones about like how we can address inequality. And it does have a feeling of, how can we fix them niggas? It's like a little air of it.
Yeah.
It's like a little air of it. And not everyone is in there, because you look around and other people rolling their eyes too, but it all like, it's like, damn, what we going to do for them? Like,
Well, see, and you know what it is, and this is, whether it be Harvard or any of these other things, right? I am apprehensive of any room, no matter who you are, that you have to qualify to get into.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Any room where we tell people that you don't get in because you have not achieved whatever that thing is, shit, man, they probably more fun than y'all, right? like maybe that's what it is. I feel like
fair.
you're leaving the fun out the room. But I will say this. There's one black man that I feel like is everybody's kind of guy, and his name is Mike Tomlin.
Oh, yeah.
And national television, right? Talk about this all the time, that if it's going to look bad for you, don't make it look bad for you on national television, because now this conversation goes from inside the house to outside the house, and it feels like everybody is in on it. And I don't know how much those things matter in Pittsburgh, where they seem to clearly move and operate at their own pace. But the bottom line is, this Steelers team is not good. Aaron Rodgers currently only has one hand that is operable, and the other one is still 42 years old, right? Can't lose sight of that. I bet he can't even hold his hand steady. You know what I mean? Like, you ask him to go like this and see what happened. But anyway, now is the time that everybody is remembering that Mike Tomlin stopped winning playoff games when it wasn't a black man as the president no more, right?
Mhm.
Apparently that was a condition that was somewhat necessary to really, get to where he wanted to be. I'm just saying, he won his first Super Bowl after Obama got inaugurated. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, he ain't winning the playoff games, and in Pittsburgh, they don't give a damn about no goddamn Barack Obama or none of that. They kind of want to know what's going on with the playoff wins, where those haven't been. It's a fair point. I don't know if the coach is the reason that this has been the case for those 9 years, but it is also fair for people to say anybody else would have gotten fired. To the maybe it ain't as much racism no more people. If I were you and I were trying to make that point, I would say the only two coaches that I could think of that have existed like this in modern times were him and Marvin Lewis. Hey. I'm just saying, forgive me, the devil don't need no advocate. I'm just saying that before they can say it, I'm going to say it and make jokes about it. But Steelers look bad against the Bills. This week they play against Baltimore, who also look bad and have a head coach who has been there just about as long, that I would make the argument needs to be fired. But if I am making the argument that he needs to be fired, it then becomes very difficult for me to not make the argument that Mike Tomlin needs to be fired. The difference in their two cases, however, is very clear. One of them has had a quarterback since 2018, and one of them is not.
Yeah, I am biased in both cases.
Yes.
For different reasons. And so, like, I think we can start with the Harbaugh thing. Is like, the one thing about Harbaugh that I respect and appreciate, and I think would be, I'd worry about losing, is the ability to run a stable organization while changing parts is a hard thing to do, and changing the way that they attack. Like, the transition from Joe to Lamar wasn't easy. And then the transition of the offense from what's his name?
Roman.
From Roman to Monken hasn't been easy, but it worked. And then they had multiple defensive coordinator transitions where they launched a career one guy and they are working on another guy. And before that, they were Wink Martindale, a crazy blitz. Like, it's just like unique things that I think some of those things aren't as obvious, and they're tough to do. I can understand, though, that the idea that you haven't gotten over a certain hump, that's fine. I think you and I are reasonable enough to know that it don't mean it's going to get better. You can look at Penn State. Like, don't assume that it's going to get better. So you have to understand that the risk that you're taking is like what you're saying by firing your coach, your good coach. So, like, if your coach stinks, then it's like, all right, can't be no worse. Get out of here. It's different. It's a different calculation when you have a coach who has made things stable. What you're doing is now, all right, we won a championship so bad that we're willing to entertain the idea of being trash. And people who are a part of good organizations, like are fans of good organizations like the Ravens and the Steelers, don't acknowledge, they don't even imagine what it's like to be a Jets fan or a Giants fan or a Raiders fan or a Cardinals fan. Like, look around the league. Most of these teams stink for long periods of time. And you guys are mad, which, like, I get it. It's fine. You could want more and want better and expect more and expect better. But you guys are mad because you haven't won a Super Bowl. So that's all. You just have to. That's the thing that I worry about is people who are saying this aren't doing the actual calculation that the probability is that you're going to get a bad coach, not that you're going to get an improvement.
Yeah. Now, and for them, they feel like no, because the last 3 coaches that they have hired over this span of 60-something year or nearly 60 years have been coaches who have not simply won Super Bowls, but have been to multiple Super Bowls. This has happened with both of them. The thing for me with the Steelers that I do think is worth pointing out, and this is perhaps a function of my age, the Tomlin line that the standard is the standard. Well, what is the standard is the standard, but you didn't answer my question.
Yeah.
Right? What exactly is the standard when people talk about Pittsburgh? Because people say the standard is Super Bowls, and that is not true. They went to 4 Super Bowls in 6 years under Chuck Noll. And that was an unreal run in a way that cannot be replicated in this day and age. But that was an unreal run. Since then, as a franchise, and this is over a span of 40-something years, they have been to 4 Super Bowls, right? They've been during the 80s. I think they went to an AFC championship game in there, I think in 84 against Miami. But otherwise, they was just kind of there. Cowher got the thing back rolling, but Cowher also had like a 3-year dip where they did not make the playoffs. And then it's like win a playoff game here, win a playoff game there. He got that Super Bowl all the way toward the end. Tomlin, it was stronger in the beginning. I think that with the talent that they've had in the last few years, getting to the playoffs or whatever it has been is fairly impressive. They have a quarterback problem. They've been had a quarterback problem, and they haven't made a big move to get another quarterback because that's between outside of Ben Roethlisberger and Terry Bradshaw, they have had the mehest quarterbacks over a span of decades. You can't do it with Neil O'Donnell at this point in time. You can't do it with old Aaron Rodgers. They tried with Kenny Pickett. I could have told you that wasn't going to work, right? So I don't know what exactly is expected, but I do think it's fair to say, bruh, how we ain't won not one playoff game in this time period. But not one of them has been a playoff game I thought they were supposed to win.
Right. But I mean, I think that's part of the reason why you criticize the coach is like win the ones that you're not supposed to win. A coach who I think most people would argue wins a lot of regular season games that he's not supposed to win. That's why he's made the playoffs a lot more than he was supposed to and been over 500 a lot more times than he was supposed to. Win one of those playoff games that you're not supposed to win is a fair criticism over this amount of time because they've been like good this whole time. So like, yeah, that's fair. To the point about the standard is the standard. The reason why that's such a masterful thing is you can make it mean whatever you want. It's about showing up on time and playing hard. It's not about actually winning championships. It's about conducting yourself with dignity and respect. Like, he ain't say nothing. Like the standard of the standard just mean like, yeah. Or the standard could be like, be happy, have a good time, be kind to people.
Right.
Like, that's the standard. So like, he ain't really said nothing. That's the master of those type of cliches or the genius of those type of cliches is you throw them out there and people, myself included, are like, oh yeah, you see the way he said that? And then you get home and you're like, he ain't said shit.
Yo, he's so good at keeping it simple and not giving you anything, but that should be feeling profound.
Don't it?
You know, like when that person, I think it was a woman, I can't remember, but asked him about cover 3 against the 4 verts. And he said he did not want to explain it, but he was impressed by the depth of the question because it ain't no explanation, Mike. And for people who need to understand what's going on here, cover 3, there are 3 deep defensive backs, 4 verts. Those 3 got to guard 4 people. Answer Mike Tomlin is, y'all fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, and the answer to that is probably the hole defenders or the curl flat defenders will carry the verts, which then opens up the curl flat. Like, it's a much more complicated answer to that. There is no perfect answer for any of that. But yeah, giving somebody a compliment and you the head coach, you Mike Tomlin. Done. That's a move there.
Well done. Well done. Well done.
Definitely your question.
Yeah, but your point about you don't know who you gonna get is an important one because the thing about the Steelers is we can operate on the assumption that they'll go get a good head coach because they did 35 years ago, and then they did again 20 years ago. and they did previously 55 years ago. Ugh, right? Like there aren't that many of them around here. And they have an infrastructure we are assuming that we think can support whatever it is. But you're right. And for people who don't know what's going on at Penn State, they can't give that job away right now for whatever reason. Signing day has come, and I think they had class 125 because they only got like 5 people because they still don't have a coach. They got mad that day and decided they were sick of James Franklin. Understandable. If I always say I can make an argument for firing anybody, right? Okay, they did it, but you're right. Who were you going to hire? That should have been a little bit more clearly explained. I thought it was going to be Matt Rule. Apparently, they thought it was going to be Matt Rule because it's not Matt Rule, and they still don't have a coach. But if the Steelers mess around in this place where they're in, because they're still not going to have a high draft pick, because they're still going to be pretty good, right? What's it gonna be? And Steelers fans, y'all don't know nothing about them hard scrabble mean streets.
Yeah, and they're gonna get to know it, or they might not. Maybe they'll figure it out again. And I think like they've hired good coaches, but your point is a good one. They don't have experience doing it. Like it could be luck. And I think like no disrespect to Chuck Noll, but like I feel differently about pre-free agency dynasties than I do about post-free agency dynasties.
Yes.
And like it's a different situation. Like, yeah, things worked out. Y'all had a Hall of Fame, had fucking 10 Hall of Famers on defense. Like, all right. And they couldn't go nowhere, no matter what. They could not stress your cap because it didn't exist. And like it's a little different situation. And yeah, there are some advancements and developments made. Like, I respect that. But then the Cowher situation was more closer to reality. What you're dealing with now is it ain't reality, man. Like, this is not. So I get it. My only point is not that he doesn't deserve to get fired because, I mean, forget deserves.
Yeah,
my
right.
point
That's an irrelevant factor.
Yeah, it's an irrelevant factor. My point is not that it's unreasonable to fire Mike Tomlin. It's reasonable to fire Mike Tomlin. My only point is understand that you quitting your job and the market out there right now is not for employees. It never is. So yeah, go ahead and quit your job if you want to. I don't know what you're going to end up doing, but you may not like it nearly as much as what you got now.
Yo, and right now, this is not a time where I feel like I'm hearing this is the next head coach name, right? So, for example, old Big Brain Ben. I got to stop calling him Big Brain Ben because apparently some of that big brainedness was actually Dan Campbell, and it's actually Big Boy Ben who take his shirt off and is kind of swole and dance around with his players. But anyway, if the Steelers' job is open last year, they are probably the move that Ben Johnson makes, even if they don't have the quarterback right now, because they're gonna give you the time and we're gonna figure out, who it's gonna be as your best chance for success. I don't know who the name is if you decide that Mike Tomlin's not going to be your coach anymore. I don't know who the guy is that you then say, okay, we're going to hire and make this happen. Now, to be fair, we damn sure didn't know who the guy was when they hired Mike Tomlin.
Exactly. That's the same point. The same with Harbaugh. It's like apparently Mike Tomlin was someone that the Rooneys knew of and were really impressed by. And
because Tomlin got the Rooney Rule interview with
it worked.
I forget which team.
But
Levitard always tells the story about how the Dolphins were going to hire him, but they did not because he was, and I quote, too hip hop, unquote. And then they hired Cam Cameron and went 1-15. What an amazing tale. But I think that's what the Broodies heard about was that interview.
Would you feel any differently about the too hip hop line if they wrote like, I don't think our fan base would be comfortable with it? No, there's really no way to be he too black. There's really no way.
The thing about the too hip hop part is, guys, we have seen Mike Tomlin for a long time. He know how to act on an interview, right? Like they act like Mike Tomlin. They act like he went in there like the Fresh Prince and Jazz. Like, hey, how you doing? Right? Dapped him up and then fell backwards. Like he was in there waiting on them. Like, my bad. Who going first?
My name is Mike, and I'm here to go.
Yes, like who?
I want to hip hop. What would he have to do? He come in there and throw down some cardboard and start break dancing on him like, hey,
and hold
hip-hop
on.
Mike.
Keep in mind, everything else about the interview was impressive enough that from the way the story is told, they thought that he was somebody that you should hire, except he was too hip-hop. So what was he doing that was so hip-hop? Or how low was the hip-hop threshold such that you decided, nope, Cam Cameron, he's our guy.
I mean, it seems obvious that it's just like it's a euphemism. Like,
yes,
we don't want no black.
We don't want nobody black. And then when they many years ago, and I think this is a different ownership group, they eventually then did hire Brian Flores, who I think was a different kind of hip hop that they didn't like.
Yeah, they wasn't down for Mobb Deep hip hop. It was like, just a little too, and like looking back on it, Flores did a pretty good damn job. Like, maybe he's the guy that you should be looking at while he's in the middle of suing the NFL.
I feel confident saying, through a little knowledge and understanding and paying more attention to the situation, he will never be a head coach, and I will never complain about it.
Yeah, maybe you know more than I know.
Yeah, no. I can understand why it is. Because basically the Dolphins got him out of there because they like, hey, man, don't nobody like him, bruh. Yeah. Like he's a tough guy to be around.
Right. Yeah. I won't push any further. But there's lots of people who are tough to be around. So that the results matter more than anything else. And I think that the what the Steelers do next would be interesting.
Well, hold on. Sometimes how tough you are to be around has an adverse effect on the results.
Fair point. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe, some people are also built to be coordinators. And I think you could look up in New England and say, all right, that man coordinated shit out that offense.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Bill Belichick is built to be a coordinator. He just had Tom Brady.
That's fair.
And I think he did a great job coaching those teams. But he's built to be a coordinator because of how he acts.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin, built to be a head coach.
Yes, he is. He was coordinator for 1 year.
Head coach. He's a head coach people.
Yep. This is going to be something to see because they got this game against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson is playing like boo-boo.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing much about it. I mean, you live closer, so maybe there is Harbaugh talk that I'm not hearing, but if they don't make the playoffs, I don't see how he can still be your coach.
Yeah, I mean, they chanted the same thing they did to Tomlin. I don't remember which game it was. A few weeks ago, they were chanting "Fire Harbaugh," and I think a lot of that was tied to, obviously it's tied to like their playoff disappointments, but a lot of it was also tied to the decision to start Cooper Rush over Snoop. Fans didn't like that because Snoop has had success in the past, but then Lamar came back. They reeled off a few wins, even though they were ugly wins, and everybody got quiet. If they end up missing the playoffs and losing the division to this not very good Steelers team, the conversations will pop back up, but I don't see it actually leading to anything unless there's some like conversation inside the locker room. Let me be straight with you. Unless Lamar is upset, I don't see them reacting to the fans that way because I think that they have a situation there between Ozzie still being around, DaCosta being the general manager. I think they have an idea of a future head coach at some point. I don't think they think that point is now unless their hand gets forced by just a terrible fall off.
It's very interesting that people think this division is terrible. I think the NFC South is probably worse, but we have seen this as a terrible division, and we walked into this year thinking that this division was rock solid. It just had the Browns in it.
Yeah, and the Bengals, I don't know. The Bengals need to – that one Super Bowl run really got us confused about who the Bengals always is.
Specifically Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
Like we thought we knew. We thought we knew, and then they went to a Super Bowl.
And they keep reminding us every year. And I mean, I guess you forgive them because of the Burrow injuries and the slow starts. The defenses have been bad, switching out coordinators. But I just had this before I got on with you. I was talking to my producers about the show that we're going to do, and they are trying to convince me to have a conversation about taking the Bengals playoff run seriously. And I won't do it. I won't do it. I I didn't do it last year. I'm not doing it this year. I won't do it. And they were like, what if they beat the Bills? So? What if they beat the Ravens? So? And they're like, the last 3 games after that are definitely easy and winnable. I guarantee you they lose. Between now and the end of the season, they'll lose 1 or 2 of these 5 games. Whether it's to the teams that are better than them or it's to the teams that are worse than them, I don't know, but not a serious outfit.
There is nothing better than when a Sam I Am moment just jumps up out of nowhere. We did not in a boat, not on a goat. No, sirree, Bob. Coming up next, I'm asked Dominique what he thinks about what Shedeur has looked like so far. And also, Giannis might want to trade. All right, we are back with Domonique Foxworth. I have talked about Shedeur a couple times without you in your expertise as a defensive back and just a generally reasonable person. What we got here?
I mean, we got a lot of noise around a situation that does not deserve to be that noisy. I mean, that's the best way I could put it. I think it's funny because you can't help but react to something that everyone else is reacting to. You don't have to like publicly react, but like you have a reaction. So like, I think I've swung back and forth based on what I felt was the predominant story around him or the predominant feeling around him through the draft and through his college career until now. It's like the pendulum swings, and I always feel like my reaction or my feeling about it is like, I don't really care about this. Everybody cares about this, but they're not seeing that this is different. And so the most latest thing is like when he got his first playing time in the Ravens game, it felt like, oh, he's terrible. And I watched those games and I was like, hey guys, they didn't protect him. The 2 times they protected him, he went downfield well. The interception was a panicked, terrible throw, but generally, like I think there's nothing to really pull from this particular game. Then he goes and wins the next game, has that incredible throw, and then it feels like the narrative around him, I shouldn't use that word anymore, it's dead. It feels like the push behind him is like, see, he did it. He did it. He got to talk about his teammates more after he win, but he did it. And then I rewatched that game, and I'm like, that play was incredible. But he didn't really do much in that game. And it feels like we're still in a situation where we're trying to really assess this guy. And to be fair, if he were a first-round pick, he would be giving us enough right now, I think, for us to be like, all right, there's something there. We can build around it. But he's not a first-round pick, and I don't think he's done nearly enough for us to be talking about like what they gonna do. Maybe they gonna build around him, which it feels like some people are arguing that that's a real thing. They're gonna draft some more quarterbacks, guys. It's gonna happen.
As soon as they can.
Of course.
Right.
Which is next year. They got 2 first-round picks.
I mean, as soon in that draft.
Yeah.
As they can. And by the way, I don't know if you'd seen this, but apparently I saw a report that said, oh, here we go. Browns open 21-day practice window for Deshaun Watson on nasty ass. They are trying to make sure that one of these mini quarterbacks they have, right? All of whom are kind of like the jack of hearts. Well, not even all, to be honest. Some of them are like 8s.
Yeah.
But they are going to see if at all they have somebody there, and they are still entertaining the possibility that Deshaun Watson off an Achilles tear, was it? That maybe he still got something left.
Yeah. This is one of those situations where I would be, which I guess the fact that he's shown that he can be an elite quarterback is enough that you would want to give it a shot.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Yeah, but I would be scared that he actually played well. Which I never want to be in a situation where I'm rooting against my own guys. You know? And so like if he played well for a short stretch, we talking about extending him? That's what we talking about doing, guys. Which like would lead to some cap relief in the short term, but not in the long term. I don't know, man. Let's see what this draft talking about.
Hey, and by the way, for the Browns, as I look at this, their draft seems to have been okay.
They've had a lot of good drafts. Like the
Right?
roster ain't terrible, man.
Yeah, and they have what I will just to stop this from becoming go to a place that's too far, perhaps one of the best defensive linemen of all time.
Oh no, it won't go too far with me.
I would say it for myself. Like we are approaching Lawrence Taylor territory in what we're seeing, like Reggie White territory in what we're seeing.
If they had ever made any good runs in the playoffs, the way that we talk about him would be entirely different right now. Like we would be like we talk about Aaron Donald, like he's one of the best D tackle, like he is the best D tackle ever. I think that argument could be made in part because he has some memorable playoff runs. But I could think of other guys who were as effective and as important. Nobody. And maybe I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I watched a lot of football. Ain't nobody been like this, man.
Yeah, like to me, it's Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White in the pass rusher category, like pass rusher outright destroyer.
He's both though. That's
right.
The thing.
And that's what I was about to say. The thing about Lawrence Taylor is those other two guys are so much bigger than him. Like there's a difference between now we just call them all edge rushers, but there's a difference between being a 4-3 defensive end. And Reggie White can also play in 5 technique also, but being a hand-down defensive end and being Lawrence Taylor outside linebacker at a time when the position didn't even really exist in the way it is now. But yes, Myles Garrett is a little bit of both with not as – would he be – what do you think would help him more? Some of Reggie White's Jesus or a little bit of Lawrence Taylor's cocaine?
I'm going to go ahead and say that on the football field,
yes,
I'm always leaning towards LT.
Yeah. I mean, so a little of the cocaine, because the thing was Reggie White would be out there talking about an Old Testament God with them.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
He was telling them that God was going to strike them down when he was coming.
But I think what is implied, obviously he don't need to actually have the cocaine. That's a different situation. But at least the way you asked the question, I was thinking like the way that he plays. He is level-headed. Like you never see him out there doing John Randall things.
Yes.
I know he swung a helmet at somebody, but generally, which I know it sounds ridiculous, generally he just out there whooping your ass and dapping you up.
Yes. Yeah, Lawrence Taylor is a different variety of crazy person.
Yeah.
Right? Like that, like just when you hear him talk about playing, when you just like the NFL films clips of him, like he's a terrifying person as opposed to simply being a terrifying opponent.
As I go through my mind of the best defensive linemen or edge rushers that in the history, the archetype mentally is not the Jesus guy. Like we talking Charles Haley, we talking Lawrence Taylor, we talking John Randall. I mean, I guess maybe Derek Thomas is a little bit more like on the mellow side, but yeah, I go with what I know.
Reggie White is just the strongest man on, or like strong in a way that you don't get from the gym.
Yeah, for sure.
The clips, well, there's 2 of them. One, that time, and I'm pretty sure Brian Billick was the offensive coordinator when this happened, and I just don't understand how he drew up a play that involved Chris Carter being the guy that had to block Reggie White. And all Reggie White did was pick Chris Carter up and throw him into Warren Moon. There were 3 Hall of Famers in this play. One of them picked the other up and threw him at the third. And when you hear me say that, you're like, he didn't throw Chris Carter at him. Go look it up. He picked up a grown man and threw him into another one like it was a bowling alley.
I remember that play. I remember it being the hump move. I'm just going to draw it up so I can see it. Yeah. And also, like, before him, did anyone, like, that's a move that Reggie White created. And
Howie Long. Howie Long's the hump move OG. However, I've never seen the Howie Long hump move clips. I've only seen Reggie White, including the greatest, which is on Thanksgiving Day. He repeatedly threw Larry Allen around. It's like the hip toss in wrestling is what the hump move is. And this is before we knew Larry Allen was Larry Allen, but we weren't blind. We knew he weighed 350 pounds or whatever it was. Did you get Chris Carter being thrown?
No. It was worse than I remembered.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I remember thinking that he was going upfield and hit him with a hump move. No. Reggie White stopped his feet because he was like, oh, Chris Carter, what you doing here? Oh, you trying to block me? And then took one arm and bashed him.
That's a great point. You're like, hey, what are you doing on this side of town?
Yeah, he stopped like, this ain't your neighborhood. Yeah, bashed him. But Myles Garrett has a lot of plays that are shocking strength-wise like that also. And then he has that thing that he calls the Euro step that he did it to Trent Williams this weekend. I'm sure you can find that tape where he starts outside and George Kittle, 2 of the best blockers in football, George Kittle and Trent Williams are trying to block him. This man gives George Kittle a shake, gets past him, and then plants off his outside foot and throws his own body all the way to the inside. If you haven't seen it yet, you need to find it, and jumps all the way to the inside, so much so that Trent Williams, the most athletic big man you've ever seen, can't get a hand on him. It's absurd.
He plays for bums.
And then he has the strength on top of it. It's just, he's got all the attributes except for the crazy.
And he can hoop. Like, yeah, it's right. He like playing with dinosaurs and shit. Like because it's interesting because he doesn't have the crazy, but he had a brother named Sean Williams who played basketball at Boston College who appeared to have the crazy.
Yeah.
Like there was a little bit if Sean Williams had his brother's temperament and Myles Garrett had his brother's temperament, both of them would probably be a little bit better.
Myles Garrett, there's another series of clips. I'm gonna send them to you at some point where you can see what he does at his size and strength. He turns his lower body. So like he'll sell upfield with his upper body, and then he'll turn his lower body in order to make the cut to break inside on people. That's why his inside move is so ridiculous, because the O-linemen don't see it coming because somehow he has the flexibility. Like he just got it all, man.
Man, speaking of having it all, we're gonna switch entire sports. It sounds like Giannis and the Bucks are talking again about whether or not it's best for him to play for them, it's best for them to play with him, so forth and so on. They don't really know what to do. I've said it. Okay. It's worth noting that the last time I looked at the numbers, they were like 4th in the East, and now they are 10-13. They have lost 8 of their last 10 games. That's why they're having these conversations again. My bad. Like, stay or go. I just don't know if it doesn't feel that easy anymore to trade me to a contender. The word contender is a little more vague, and trades are a little harder.
Didn't he like grab something last night?
Yeah, a calf.
Yeah.
Hold on. In a way that if it wasn't Giannis, we would raise the question of shenanigans.
Remember when he hyperextended his knee?
Yes.
And we thought it was over. That he scored 60.
Yeah, they like won a championship, as I recall. I believe that might have all been the same season. But no, after all these reports come out, and then he hits the ground and say, "My foot hurt." For many other NBA players, we'd be like, "Yeah, your foot hurts." In his case, I believe that he is actually hurt, which, by the way, y'all can talk all you want. If he got a calf injury, I'm going to need to see them MRIs and everything else. Like, y'all going to need to hit the zoom lens as tight as you can before you send them over and we start talking about a trade.
For sure. Yeah, no, the way it happened was kind of scary. It was one of those, like, it wasn't even in course of play. He just made a great play, great pass, and then it gets a little scary. I get your point. My first thing when I saw that news this morning was to think that there was shenanigans. Then I watched it, and I got real nervous and was like, I hope the MRI is all right. That is, I mean, normally you heard it in practice. If it's shenanigans, you ask it a lot of yourself as a performer. Like, it's unnecessary. And I mean, in this day and age, you only got to hurt yourself. You just tell, like in the NBA, tell them, I ain't playing.
Well, also, you can't do it like that in on the court in the NBA no more in these days and times, because quite honestly, you might be under FBI investigation.
I forgot about that.
They about to go check the lines.
Yeah, I believe Giannis is a believable guy. He even did the modern day nonsense, which I guess isn't nonsense. It's a thing now. It's the first step in the process is changing social media.
He did that.
Know. Whose job is that? Do you hire a company to do that?
Yeah.
All right. I can't imagine that Giannis is scrolling through deleting stuff.
Yeah, no. You get somebody to do that. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But yeah, you get somebody else to go through and make those moves. There are companies who do this, or whoever it is that you trust with the passwords to put all the inane, nonsensical posts that you put up to make the people feel like you engage with them. Right. But he got a lot of that can't go back in him. And so that's why I don't think he would do that. Like, I think he always afraid he gonna get deported.
And like the move it to a contender thing is, I guess this season kind of disproves that. But like, don't you automatically become a contender when Giannis shows up?
Yes, kinda. But it appears that you need to have like a deep bag
Yeah.
of players rather than like one with a really heavy thing in it. First of all, everybody playing for second. Talked about
Yeah.
this on the show the other day.
I was they lost one game, man.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Everybody, and the craziest part is everybody's playing for second. And you know what team is actually in a position to add Giannis without having to give up that much relative to what they have? Them.
Yeah.
They're the ones who could do that. They could make a decision if they wanted to just be like, nah, we'd rather our run be like 7 years instead of 12. So how about we give you, I don't know, Jalen Williams, huh? We give you Jalen Williams and maybe a number 1 pick. Like they could make the trade and then be like, nothing here is different than it was before.
My gosh, could you imagine if he started playing the role that we expect Chet to play? It's like, and they could have them both on the court at the same time.
Right.
Like,
well, what if they call Milwaukee and it's like, well, y'all can have Chet.
yeah.
Houston had always been the team that I had looked at. And, the Houston thing is we will not trade Amen Thompson. And I think that's ridiculous. As good as I think that he could possibly be, him, Şengün, all of y'all can go if we get Giannis.
Yeah. I mean, that's positioning. Come on. Y'all are crazy.
Yeah. Look, to get Paul George, the Clippers had to give up now the second best player in the NBA. And look, none of us thought the shape was going to be this good, but that was the one Presti's like, I ain't leaving without that one.
Sorry for the detour. Do you have TikTok?
If you send me something, I can look at it.
Okay. I mean, it's just a little, you didn't make the face that I was expecting when I told you about the Myles Garrett move. So I assumed that maybe, which is reasonable, you didn't see it.
No, give me a look.
You weren't watching this nonsense, the 49ers game.
No, I tried. I did. But yeah, I am now very curious to see what it is. Okay. And the answer to your question, am I on TikTok? No. But if you're on your laptop, you could watch it on. Oh my God. What?
This motherfucker teleporting.
Yo, I've never seen any player that's Barry Sanders.
This 6'5", 300-pound, muscle-bound man out here teleporting.
I've never seen anybody on a football field make a jump cut. Like, this is Marshall Faulk caliber jump.
That man jumping 10-yard jump.
Yo, that's the kind of thing that makes a man Trent Williams' age retire. Right? Like, yo, I guess I ain't got it no more. Except then you go back and watch it on film and you're like, oh, couldn't nobody else do that with that either. In fact, why doesn't he just do that every time?
Because he could just go through you or go around you. That's the thing, is the man got one of the best speed rushers and can drop that shoulder, get around the edge. He got it all, man. And this defense is always really good, in large part because he always out there.
And yet they, as a collective, stink.
Mm-hmm. He just driving people back too. His power move is stupid.
I can't stop watching this.
That's why you could tell. I've been distracted. We did the Giannis conversation. We can get back to it.
No, we right.
But
I've
been distracted the whole time because I was like, Bomani really ain't react the way that I expected.
No. I didn't. And after you said that and I put it on, I was like, well, maybe I'll need to watch it a second time to like fully No. Now that I'm watching it for the 12th time. And by the way, number 68 on the other side was over there getting worked by the other defensive end. Like, this was going to be a sack even if he didn't get it done. But he made that move and somebody actually pushed Purdy into it, which had to make it worse for Purdy. Purdy had to be like, hey, what are you doing here?
Do you
You're
remember?
supposed to be outside.
I'm in the Myles Garrett rabbit hole. Do you remember when he was dribbling a basketball on the field? Like, fake dribbling a basketball over the center for the Bengals?
Right before the snap. He was doing like the low crosses. And then went for the rush. Yo, I just realized what he did here. He did a stunt by himself.
He was the outside and the inside.
It was the one-man stunt. How is this possible?
Oh gosh.
Okay, sorry for those of you who are not watching. I imagine that
sorry.
Ryan can put this in what they call them, show notes.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But you You need to see what it is that I just saw.
Yeah, and there's so many of them. There's so many of them. Hey, that was against Trent Williams. I'm looking at
Yes.
other stuff against guys who ain't Trent Williams.
Guys that aren't going to the Hall of Fame.
that aren't a one-man offense. He show up, your offense get 10 points better immediately when Trent Williams shows up.
It mattered not. Nothing that he had mattered. Right fast before we get out of here. It feels like either the Chiefs or the Texans. It feels like one of their seasons is going to end this week, but it feels a little dramatic to say. But I feel like if it's the Chiefs, it's over. Is that fair?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Chiefs have had a number of big games already in this season, and I feel like they've lost them all, which maybe...
Well, they beat Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, they did beat Indianapolis. That was a big game win. You're right. But this one, so maybe I was going to say that maybe my best faith for the Chiefs is that they do, but maybe they not do because they got one big game win. But I don't feel confident for the Chiefs. Of course, Patrick Mahomes, we all respect him and we know it's possible. But the O-line injuries combined with, I don't care if your O-line is injured or not, that Texans defensive front is insane. And there are really no holes out there because it's like we don't have to blitz. We also don't have to sit back in coverage because we got cover guys. Like they could blitz if they wanted to, but they don't need to. And they could sit back and like double team everybody if they wanted to, but they don't need to because both of their corners are pretty good. You could attack the linebackers, I guess, in pass coverage, but like that ain't a long, like then you're going to have to dink and dunk it all the way down the field, which I don't know. I don't feel great about this. Of course, it's Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, all that stuff. I had respect that they could get it done. But the question is, will the Texans offense be able to score enough points? Because I don't think that the Chiefs offense is going to have much for this Texans defense.
But if the Chiefs win this, it is totally possible that they could win out.
Yeah, and then if they get in the playoffs, then I
mean, it's on the board. The big thing is they need to catch the Chargers. Chargers are 2 games up on them. I don't know what the tiebreaker is if the Chiefs split because the Chiefs lost the first game of the year to the Chargers. So I don't know exactly how it plays out, or hope that Buffalo starts falling off. Which is 100% on the board.
Yeah, Buffalo got the Bengals this weekend, so they might beat them.
Yeah, I will. I want to say this about the Texans, and I've said this. People have been reluctant to get back hip with this, but we got to be real. The Will Anderson trade worked out, right? Because it looked ridiculous at the time because we thought they were going to be back in the top 5 the next year. No, they weren't, right? It turned out to be a mid to late first round pick that they sent to Arizona in order to get Will Anderson. So they got C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson in the same year. They got the 2 things you want to build around right there.
And they got a great coach, and we just thought that it was going to be smooth sailing for them. For some reason, they refused to address the offensive line issues, and the quarterback keeps getting hurt. And their receivers, they losing receivers. It's rough. But this team was like expected. Will you remember when they both brought in both those rookies, and they were great off the bat? And we're like, all right, long runway. They're getting towards the time where it's time to start signing them people, and the runway gets a little bit more precarious.
Yeah, but they're another one, though. They have winning out is on the board. Chiefs, Cardinals, Raiders, Chargers, and the not as good as they used to be Colts.
Yeah, do you find this year like more fun or less fun? I guess it's not a fair question, but get the point.
It's a great question. I like there to be a great team.
Yeah, me too.
And that ain't here.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, unless you think the 11-2 Patriots are great, and I just can't. I can't get myself there yet.
Yeah, I mean, the 11-2 Patriots have some issues, and of course, the funny thing about that is their schedule hasn't been super tough, but then you look around and like, ain't nobody out here that's really that good.
Yeah.
It feels like we are in a little bit of a transition stage, but yeah,
I
don't know. I love it.
Looks like, but it also looks like all the good quarterbacks are not going to make the playoffs. Like that's the part that I don't know how anybody actually feels about that. Like if we look at who makes the playoffs right now, let me pull this up so it gives me just who's going to be in the playoffs right now. Okay, so the playoffs from the AFC, if they started today, Drake May, who is good, but like not the guys we're used to, I guess is a better way to put it. Drake May, Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, I guess, Lamar Jackson, I've heard of him. Justin Herbert.
He ain't playing well, though.
Yeah, right, he's not playing well. He's not healthy right now either. And then Daniel Jones. In the NFC, we are looking at Caleb Williams, Matthew Stafford, who gave you one of the other kinds of Matthew Stafford games last week. Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, don't believe it, and Jordan Love. This isn't, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, like the guy, Joe Burrow, like the guys, they're not there.
Dak Prescott.
Right. Who is playing lights out football, guys. Like there will be a football game played between this recording and you hearing this. So it's possible that statement could be laughable.
Nah, it's not possible. He's going to play a game in the dark because he will continue to play lights out football. Y'all can, you can laugh at me if you want to, but I think I feel pretty safe, especially seeing what Jordan Love did to that defense last week.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot. Oh,
man. Look, man, here's the thing. And they're hurt up and down again. And this happens with the 49ers, too, the most physical team in the league. Also, like the physics of it are such that you're going to take some of those blows, too. Like, I still think this has been a good team. And I think the weakness we saw in week 1 is the one that got them. The interior offensive line has been big problem. They're down on defense like guys. So that's its own thing. But what do you make of this? For people who don't know this story, Frank Ragnow played center for the Lions for many, many years. He retired after last season. He wanted to come back this season. The Lions signed him. They gave him a physical, and he failed the physical, not because it was like something wrong with his kidney or something deep down in there. He had a grade 3 hamstring strain and was trying to come play football. Does he love the Lions that much?
I have so many questions.
What was he doing, by the way, as a non-football player?
Like, what? How do you get that level? Maybe he's still training, but also like I've pulled a quad before, but I've never like had any hamstring issues. But like, it hurts.
This.
Grade 3? Grade 3 mean his white leg was black in that spot. And his muscle was not functioning without pain. But he offensive lineman. I have no idea what he thought when he showed up and knocked on their door and was like, hey, ready to play. what he thought was wrong.
Imagine the look on their faces when they took that MRI and they held that bitch up to the light. And they was like, look, come look at this. Is this, you see what I see, right?
Where he limped up to the facility and knocked on the door. What were they thinking? Oh, it's early in the morning. You still got to warm up, get some blood down. I feel you. It's creaky. I feel you. God, I don't get it at all. And so that they just like, all right, hi, bye. Now see ya.
But the fact that the Lions entertained this at all tells you everything that you needed to know about where they stood.
I assume they called him. Right? It's like they were having issues. They probably called his agent like, hey, what you think? And he was like, yeah, cool. I mean, my hammy hurt a little bit, but it's no big deal.
I mean, but who else did they call? Did they call Bruce Matthews? Did they call John Hanna? Like who else? Who else
Kevin
got a ring? Lomas Brown.
Oh my God!
Did you give these other guys a ring? I just got the grade 3, and I saw without knowing the context, like NFL players on Twitter being like, "Brother, grade 3." I'm like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" And then it was like,
I don't know the grading system, but I don't think I've ever heard grade 3. Like most of the time you say you got strain or tear.
Because once it comes to grade 3, the details don't matter.
Yeah, we never got there because normally like a strain is a tear or it's like a small tear. So that's like, I'm assuming like grade 1. And then they say it's a tear. I'm like, oh, that's bad. That's grade 2 probably. I didn't know that you could do more than that.
That's like a category 5 hurricane. All right, I've heard of it, but you didn't even need to tell me that. Just tell me to leave. All right, you're gone now.
Yeah. That's it.
Y'all need to go on. But that is Domonique Foxworth. Check him out on the Domonique Foxworth Show, available where all fine podcasts are given away for free, and here on First Fridays with Foxworth. My brother, I appreciate you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, man. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 4 times a week. Ryan Brumley handling everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Hit the voicemail line, 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.